Hey, good afternoon. Midshipman second class, Ike Heineman. Second class means I'm a junior here at the Naval Academy, my third year, member of 12th Company, and a 2015 graduate of Valley View High School in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Go Blazers.
Hi, I'm Sean Jernigan. I'm a United States Naval Academy class of 2020, and I'm a history major with emphasis on Russian, studying Russian. I'm from outside Paragould, Arkansas. I graduated from Crowley's Ridge Academy, which is in Paragould, and I came here straight from high school. I decided to come to the United States Naval Academy because I wanted to be a Marine and I wanted to be an officer. And I found that it gave me that and an opportunity to have a great education. I thought USNA would challenge me, and it certainly has, and I also thought it would be better than West Point. So that's why I'm here, and an important thing for me when I was coming here was deciding that it's not necessarily where you're going, whether it's Army ROTC, West Point, or the Naval Academy. It's what you're going to be doing in that service. So wherever you go, I found that was going to be probably the most important thing, was what you're doing, not where you go.
So why did I attend the United States Naval Academy? Whenever people ask that, usually I tell them I watched too much Top Gun as a kid. I knew since I was a little kid that I wanted to be a pilot, and I wanted to be the very best pilot I could be. And throughout my life, I heard it was the Navy pilots, the kind of guy that can land on a carrier deck. It's pitching in the dark in the middle of a thunderstorm. So yes, I want to be a fighter jock. But it's more than that. The Naval Academy gives you the best education you can get, an Ivy League equivalent of education, while also developing your leadership skills. It's a unique place. Not many 17 and 18-year-olds can wake up at 5:30 in the morning and have a full 15, 16, 17, 18-hour day. It teaches self-discipline. It teaches time management. It teaches personal skills. You're, as a plebe, going to be in a 150-man company with a lot of diverse personalities. Some people may not like you just because you're a plebe. You have to learn how to manage all 150 different people coming at you at one time, asking for different things, asking for more of your time, giving you criticism and feedback. And the big part of it is you kind of have to remain sane. Like, to a lot of people, that would be overwhelming. You have to be able to take a step back. You have to learn to take a deep breath and handle any situation that's thrown at you, whether that be a combat kind of situation or a kind of situation where you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Because at the end of the day, Naval Academy is preparing you to take the reins of leadership at the highest levels of government, business, and the military. And I can't imagine doing anything better with your life than to say that, you know what, I graduated from the United States Naval Academy, and I served with honor for my country.
Some of the reasons to attend the Naval Academy are the town of Annapolis. It's a great town. It's great to go out on the weekends. Another one is that you get the opportunity to serve and get an education, a great education, while you're at it. You also have no tuition fees, so there's no student loan debt or anything like that. And you also get a stipend that increases as your time at the Naval Academy goes on. You are with like-minded people, which is key to everyone focusing on a certain task. Unlike a civilian university where everyone's going their own way, you're all headed toward that officership. Opportunities at the Naval Academy and afterward in a career are, I would argue, greater than at any other surface academy or civilian university in the world. You can work with EOD units, you could deploy with a Marine Air Ground Task Force, or you could chase submarines on a destroyer, or even avoid destroyers while sailing in a submarine. There are wider service opportunities between the U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps than anywhere else, and another reason to go to the Navy is to beat Army.
So how did I compare academically once I got to the Naval Academy? It's a lot harder here, let me tell you. Very first off, to prepare yourself, I would take all the AP science and math classes you can, especially calculus, AP physics, and AP chemistry. Chemistry will be key, especially your plebe year. You won't be disappointed once you come here if you took AP Chem. Personally, I only took AP Cal, and I was a little bit of a disadvantage coming in. I had a lot of peers that had taken a year of college classes, were taking many of these scientific style AP classes, and they were able to ace chemistry and plebe chemistry and plebe calculus without any problems. Me, on the other hand, I had to get a lot more tutoring, go to extra classes and stuff like that. Still passed somewhat easily with a good margin. But what really made the difference for me were the professors here. Unlike other colleges, they work around your schedule to do what's called EI, extra instruction. It's kind of like office hours, if you know about civilian colleges. And like anytime you need it, they're going to work with you to really be there. It doesn't matter how long it takes, if it's 15 minutes or 3 hours. They're going to be there for you, and they're going to explain the concepts to you until you understand. As long as you put forth your best effort, they can see you're trying. Professors here will work with you light years beyond what civilian colleges would do. The Naval Academy is a big culture shock. You come from being on top in high school, probably being one of the highest performers there, to being like average, below average even here at the Naval Academy, because here everyone was the best of the best. Someone has to be last, unfortunately. The biggest part of changing for me was that, and then being able to take criticism. I was a high school football player, all-A student, class president for a year in high school. Wasn't used to really getting criticism. I kind of took it personally, kind of, I guess, hurt my feelings for lack of a better term. In the military and the Naval Academy in general, criticism is meant to help you. It's going to be your best tool. People might come across as harsh. You know, at the end of the day, you're in the military, you got to deal with it. So be ready to be wrong, but be ready to correct your mistakes and have an excited kind of attitude to go experience new things and maybe not do your best the first time, but get better over time.
The academic year at the Naval Academy differs from plebe summer in several ways. The first of which is that during plebe summer, it's more of an orientation phase. In the academic year, it's more focused on leadership and character development. You'll be taught as a plebe to be a follower, and then as a youngster to be more of a mentor. In second class and first, each more of a leadership of the brigade, and soon to be officers. The plebe summer mentality is that you're outnumbering your detailers 10-1, but the reality is once you become a part of the brigade, once the academic year starts, you're outnumbered 1-3, and that number stays the same. You're always going to be, your class will be outnumbered 3-1 by whatever other classes are around. And then in plebe summer, a lot of it is very hectic and challenging in many ways, whether it's physically, which is up to you to handle on your own during the academic year, but it's physically, mentally challenging. Sometimes it should make you want to quit, but you have to have the determination to keep going and to remember why you're there at the service academy, whether it be Navy or Army or Air Force or wherever. You've got to remember what you're doing there, and plebe summer will certainly put that into perspective for you. And plebe summer is something that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it will train you the way you need to be trained in order to start your officer development at the Naval Academy.
So a little bit about the daily schedule, especially as a plebe at the Naval Academy. A typical day starts at 05:30, 3 to 5 times per week for morning company PT. That could be anything from running an obstacle course to running laps and doing a strength portion. Until about 06:30 when you get the chance to go back, shower, get ready for your day. You go to formation at 07. So you'll be in this blues uniform, as we call it. No anchors as a plebe, unfortunately. But you go to formation, do kind of a roll call, and go to your morning breakfast. Food here kind of depends. It's okay most days, especially when you consider you're serving 4,500 midshipmen. Go to class next from about 08 in the morning till 11:45. And at 12:05 you have noon meal formation. That's just another quasi roll call that you do out for the public. So you have swords and cameras and everything on you. It's a really cool experience, especially in what we call Tecumseh Court, the main courtyard at the academy. Then we go through, eat our noon meal, and get dismissed after about 30 minutes. So you spend 30 minutes mandatorily with your squad doing different interactions, talking about the day, different events, things like that. Plebes will often have noon meal training, so it could be combat speakers, officers coming in to speak to them, talk about their real life experiences, Could be training in public speaking, a multitude of different things. They'll have 5th and 6th period as their afternoon classes until about 3:15, 3:30, or 15:30 in military time, and go to their sport. So every midshipman has to play either an intramural, club level, or varsity level sport. Anything from pistol, like I did for my first 2 years at the Naval Academy, all the way to the famed Navy varsity football team. Go to evening meal after that. Starts from about 17:30 until 19:30, 5:30 in the evening until 7:30 in the evening. And you have ECAs, extracurricular activities such as religious clubs, or an evening briefing. Could be anything from a forestall lecture where someone like the vice president or president comes to talk to the brigade of midshipmen, or just some officer that wants to share further experiences with you. Study period is mandatorily from 2000, so 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. Usually that 2 hours of time does not cover all your homework. You're going to be doing homework outside of class, late in the evening. There's never an end to the homework here, but it's a great experience still. Then you sign TAPs. Typically for me, that's about 2300, 11 p.m. Some engineering majors will stay up till 2 a.m. and only get 4 hours of sleep. And that's pretty much a day here at the Naval Academy.
One thing that I found out once I came to the Naval Academy was that schedule making and time management was key to success in any aspect of living here. And I use a 2017-2018 calendar, or whatever year it is, to help me organize. And this is chock full every day of the week. Every day I have multiple things going on, whether it's academics or extracurricular activities, or just working out, making sure I know what my schedule is. And it's very important to be punctual, and this will really help you do that. Time management is key. Being punctual is key, because if you're not using your own time effectively in this developmental phase, once you graduate from the Naval Academy commission as an officer in the Navy or Marine Corps, you're not going to be able to effectively lead a unit if you're not managing the time and managing each personnel section properly. So this is a key thing at the Naval Academy, whether it's in academics or in any other way, and it also helps you discipline yourself into holding yourself to a schedule.
So summer training here at the Naval Academy, honestly one of my favorite parts because it gets you out in the fleet really doing things that make a difference. It could be anything from doing parachute training down at Fort Benning, Georgia, to international internships in Berlin, Moscow, and Beijing. Two or three of my summer training experiences were my youngster cruise, so that's been over a year ago now. I was on the USS Mason, traveled 2 days after graduation day 2016 to Norfolk, Virginia, boarded the Mason, and immediately got underway for Genoa, Italy. Across the Atlantic, about a 2-week passage with the entire fleet, the Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group. Joined the entire Italian fleet, about 12, 15 ships I believe, including a small aircraft carrier, and had the CNO of the Italian Navy and the American CNO at the time come aboard the Mason to participate in one of the first joint exercises using international produced biofuel, of all things. That was on the USS Mason, and got to go to Italy, had some great time in port there, and got to know a crew who just a couple months later would see some of the first combat action in decades when the Yemenis rebels fired cruise missiles at HSV Swift, the USS Mason, and then several other ships in their strike group. So pretty cool thing, pretty intense. Another training I underwent was this past summer called ProTremid. Every second class midshipman does this. It's a 4-week training with all the major services in the Navy and Marine Corps team. Some of the highlights were I got to drive a nuclear ballistic missile submarine, USS Tennessee. Flew in a T-34 trainer aircraft, got to take the stick myself. As a hopeful pilot, that was honestly one of the high points of my entire career. I still post pictures about it and look back at the videos I took. Then also we had Marine Week. Awesome week, got to shoot a lot of guns, machine guns, mortars, throw grenades, fire grenade launchers, blow stuff up. Not a bad week with ProTremid. And finally, one of my trainings I've been doing both summers I've been here was Midshipman AGI, Aviation Advanced Ground Instructor. So I actually get to teach other midshipmen how to fly because I'm a private pilot and ground instructor, and it's awesome to see students who have never touched an aircraft but just kind of want to know how to do it, go from that no understanding to being able to solo at the end of 4 weeks.
So training as an upperclassman, each company elects its own training staff through the chain of command, and training is something that's not necessarily limited to them. Each midshipman has a responsibility to hold every other midshipman accountable, because if we're not holding ourselves accountable, what standard are we holding ourselves to as officers in the fleet when we graduate from the Naval Academy? And it's vital to focus when you're training not just on academics or any one portion, but to be well-rounded and ready to be what the Naval Academy needs us to be, which is ready to graduate as warfighting and well-rounded leaders for the Navy and Marine Corps, so that we can be dependable for the tasks that we're asked to carry out. Service opportunities at the Naval Academy are wide and great in variety. There's the Marine Corps option. You could be part of the surface warfare community, possibly serve on board a submarine, be a naval aviator, or work with naval special warfare, whether in SEALs or EOD. And you can also do restricted line and staff corps, such as medical corps. Service assignment at the Naval Academy works very effectively. Midshipmen put in their preferences for where they would best see themselves fitting best and where they feel they're most qualified to serve, and then the Navy and Marine Corps picks from those preferences and from their own needs where to put midshipmen, where they can best serve their nation.